What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, happy start of the week. Hope everybody is feeling good and safe. International break is nearly over, people. You know, a couple more days and we're out of there. It is North London Derby week. All the build-up will start over the next few days. We'll have previews, all of that good stuff coming up. Keep it locked on Curtis Shaw TV. Hope everyone is safe and well. Big up to everyone watching on YouTube. Big up everyone tuned in on Twitch. Big up the see you, Nick. And we are back, people. And, you know, Nicholas Anelka in the background. As I always say, people, I always say this, but for me, one of the most underrated Arsenal players of all time. We never speak about him. He was unbelievable. I think it's because he played for so many different Premier League teams that we don't sort of consider him one of our own, because he played for Liverpool, played for Chelsea, played for Bolton, Man City, played for everyone, to be honest. He was a bit of a Premier League hoe, if we're being totally honest. But yeah, he was a bad boy player. But big up everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. And as you can see by the weekend, that is why I don't do watch-alongs for England games. I'd rather go over there and watch paint dry. They are a shambles. And Southgate, I think the P45 is being typed up. As soon as that World Cup finishes, I think Southgate will be out the door. England play against Germany tonight. I'll have it on as background noise, people, you know what I mean? We'll have a little look at Leroy Sané. We don't even watch Serge Gnabry anymore because we know that one ain't happening. And we'll have a look at a few players. But yeah, not really interested in that. And yeah, Anelka was a baller, man. Anelka at Bolton was peak. Sam Allardyce. Long ball up to Kevin Davis. Elbow in your cheek. Anelka gets the knockdowns. Edu Modi's already on, people. Willian the Lazy says, big up Curtly and happy birthday to Big Man Cruz. Hat-trick settings. Big up everyone who reached out. I appreciate everyone who sent a message of well-being to Cruz. He was happy. Scored a hat-trick the day after his birthday. It was a great weekend, great celebration, and I appreciate everyone who reached out. So big up to each and every one of you. And yeah, Goldbridge, man, Goldbridge and Billy, man, that Sidemen FC game against YouTube, it looked massive, man. I think 2.5 million people were watching live at one stage, man. So big them up, man. They're doing big things in the YouTube game. I need to be playing in that game next year. I can't lie, people. But anyway, we move. But listen, let's get into Arsenal. And let's start talking Premier League. We're not interested in the international scenario, apart from the few players who were involved for Arsenal. So anyway, let's get into the start of the show. Make sure you smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Couple things in the description below. Football Content Awards voting is open. We're up for 2 awards, Best Content Creator, Best in Video Creator. Links in the description. If you haven't voted already, would be much appreciated. It'll take 30 seconds of your time. And if you want to become a channel member, that link is in the description below as well. So big up. Should Arsene Wenger get the England job? Listen, he can't do any worse than what Gareth's doing. 7 defenders on the pitch. I always have this argument and this debate about Declan Rice. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've met Declan Rice once, and he was a cool guy. He seems like a guy that if you was a player, you'd get on with him. Great personality. He cracks jokes. He's got banter. He's a great guy. I honestly don't know what the hype is around Declan Rice. I think he's a decent centre midfielder. Works his socks off, tackles, wins headers. They're talking about 100 million for him to leave West Ham. I don't know. Some of you may really rate Declan Rice. I call him Declan Rice and Peas because to me, he just steady Eddie, man. I don't know what all the hype is. I think in England, we have this crazy way of rating players in this country. And at times it baffles me. You know, Trent, not even in the squad for England tonight. I mean, people constantly talk about what Trent can't do. But why don't we look at what he can do? He's elite on the ball. He's one of the best crossers, one of the best passers. But they go, oh, he's not amazing defensively. You know, it's funny the way they rate players in England. At times it baffles me. I think if you're really passionate and you run through brick walls, you'll have a great career in England. They get gassed off that. Techie players, they struggle in this country at times. Not all of them. You know, James Maddison, I think he's created the most chances in the Premier League this season, doesn't get in the England squad. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, what do I know, people? Big C, Mason Mount is a good player, and I hate Chelsea. Yeah, Mount's a good player. Basmati Rice is better than Declan Rice. I would go along with that. Definitely rice and peas. English tax for real, man. Definitely. Big C, the GOAT. Big up Bally TV. Hope you're well, bro. Big Ben tax. Yeah, man. The power of the pound. Big up Kirtley. The David Dean interview was good. Thoughts, I got to be totally honest. I haven't watched the whole interview yet. I saw a few clips. So I'm not going to comment, but listen, I'm sure it's a great interview. They do the same with Sterling, always talk about what he can't do. I don't get it. I saw an interview where a guy in Spain was saying if Trent was Spanish, he'd be the best right back in the world because they would rave about him. They would just get the best out of him. In England, we downplay the guy's talent and talk about what he can't do. He's a Champions League winner, Premier League winner. But anyway, forget about them. Let's move on. English beans and mash tax, you're right. Let's move on. Let's talk Arsenal, people. North London derby week. As this game approaches, the nerves will kick in. This game is huge for Arsenal. On this day, 7 years ago, people, Arsenal won 5-2 at Leicester City, who then went on to become Premier League champions. I have to admit, I was never a big fan of the Puma kits at Arsenal. I thought they were a bit cheap, but I did like this kit. I don't know why. And you know what it is? I want to know people's opinions on this, man. Alexis Sanchez, I find it really difficult to dislike him. I have a lot of conversations with Arsenal fans about Alexis Sanchez, and a lot of Arsenal fans hate him. He went to Manchester United, and I get it. I get it. You've got every right to hate him, but for some reason, when I look at Alexis in a picture, I can't help but remember the good times. What a player. We should have won the title with this guy. I probably did like it, Captain. I like the shirt because of Alexis. I love this guy. I'm sorry. I've made crazy comments about this guy, and I don't hide from them. I think this guy is one of the best players that I've seen play for Arsenal. I would say the best player that's played for Arsenal at the Emirates. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, people. I find it very difficult to dislike him. I think he got caught up in the money and he chased the wrong thing. At the same time, sometimes you got to question the club's lack of ambition. Maybe he was such a good player that we didn't build a good enough team. Man had Giroud up front. But yeah, 7 years ago, Arsenal, we beat the champions home and away and didn't win the title ourselves. Absolutely bottled the Premier League that year. I remember going to the Emirates, Valentine's Day. Obviously the missus, Valentine's Day, what we doing? I said, listen, man, we're going to catch up tonight, but I'm going to the Emirates. Arsenal against Leicester. Leicester are top of the league. I'm going Emirates. I went Emirates by myself. I had a lot of making up to do that night. When Danny Welbeck flicked that header into the bottom corner, it was worth everything. The scenes, people, the scenes. Arms, everything was going off. Limbs all over the Emirates. I have to admit, that is one of the best goal celebrations in terms of in the crowd that I've ever been involved in an Arsenal game. That home game, Danny Welbeck, last minute. I was literally about to leave. We got the free kick. Ozil whips it in. Welbeck, he'd been injured for months, flicks it on in the corner. I left the ground that day saying we're winning the title. This Leicester team that everyone's hyping, we've done them home and away. We're winning the league this year. And then Giroud went 15 games without scoring and we bottled it. Simple as that. The rest was history, people. How we didn't win the 2015 Premier League title, I will never know. I tell you what, I spent a bit of money that night as well because I thought we were champions. So, champagne, roses, chocolates, all of that. Giroud went 15 without scoring. And yeah, it was all mad, people. I should have bought Prosecco and picked some flowers out of the garden. Man said Cruz was born that night. Yo, I'm telling you. Welbeck, yes! It's a boy! It's all mad, people, but it is what it is. But yeah, why did we not win the league that year? It should have happened, but anyway, it is what it is. When will we actually win the league again? Gets me thinking, we haven't won the league since 2004. We're now in 2022. About to, approach 2023. You're talking about 19 years by next year without winning a title. What Arsenal fan would have been sitting there after becoming invincible No defeat the whole season. Who would have thought we were going to go 19 years without winning a league? I've always said, and I stand by this. I stick by this. I don't think Arsenal win a title until Pep Guardiola leaves Man City. I don't think we can outdo what Pep Guardiola is doing at Manchester City while he's there. I think we need Pep to leave Man City and then them to have a little point where they drop off a little bit. You know, I didn't think City could get much better. They just signed Haaland. I think that's them for the next 2 or 3 years before you can get anywhere near them, because they don't really have an obvious weakness. Maybe left back. So for me, I don't think Arsenal can win a league until Pep goes, in my opinion. But anyway, let's hope I'm wrong. Luke said, same, Man City are just too dominant. George, we are winning it this year. Listen, stranger things have happened, but it's unlikely. Pep and Haaland are there to stay. We are winning the league this season, says Omar. Maybe Europa League. Once Pep and Klopp leaves, Arsenal can win the Premier League. I remember Pep's first season, they were speaking of sacking him and were calling him overrated. He just needed fullbacks. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Arsenal Football Club. Let's start with transfers. Douglas Luiz, we've spoken about him on numerous occasions, people. There's nothing that I'm going to say that you don't already know. However, story coming out today saying that Douglas Luiz wants to sign for Arsenal in January. He was very disappointed that a move didn't materialise on deadline day. He thinks it has damaged any opportunity of him getting in the Brazil squad for the World Cup, and he's very unhappy with his current situation at Aston Villa. He's not even starting all of their games. He's been on the bench for 3 games this season. And things are not going well for him. Steven Gerrard is the 3rd favourite to be sacked in the Premier League next. Brendan Rodgers is currently the 1st favourite, and then Frank Lampard. So there is a big possibility that Steven Gerrard won't even be there. And Douglas Luiz has probably blown any opportunity that he had of going to the World Cup. Aston Villa are in a relegation battle right now, never mind going for Europe. So he's apparently desperate to leave. He agreed personal terms with Arsenal on deadline day, and apparently he's still very keen on a January move to Arsenal. Reports coming out of Brazil saying Arsenal could be set to make a £15 million offer for Douglas Luiz in January. Apparently Villa wanted 40 million for him on deadline day, which is why our 25 million pound bid was rejected. We're going to put a poll up shortly. Would you sign Douglas Luiz for 15 million pounds in January, or do you think move on and go and get somebody else? Would you rather get Danilo from Brazil? Would you rather go back in for Yuri Tielemans? Is there another name out there? Would you want to see us go for somebody else? Let me know. Personally, I got to be honest, I would take Douglas Luiz for 15 million as backup for Thomas Partey, because Thomas Partey, we just can't trust him. And for 15 million pounds, January is a relatively difficult window. So for me, it would be a yes. But let me know in the poll. First poll of the day. More polls than a strip club. Would you take Douglas Luiz for 15 million in January? The poll is up, people. Ziggy, big up, bro. He said, Big C, I'm tired of rivals always using Champions League against we need to make Champions League and win a trophy. Listen, I always say this. One thing I always say, Ziggy, about Arteta, about Arsenal, about Edu, about the direction of the football club. This football club, the end goal is not Champions League football. Champions League football is the next step. What I want to know from Arsenal, what I want to know from Edu, and what I want to know from Mikel Arteta is your vision with this football club has to be to win the Premier League at some stage. We have to win the Prem. We can't be going 20 years without winning a Premier League and not even competing for it. We're not even competing for the Premier League at the moment. This season we are. Now we're top, so we're competing. I think we all deep down expect Manchester City to run away with it. We need to at least stay within touching distance of them for the majority of this season. Things have to change. So for me, this football club have to show more ambition. It starts with the fan base, and it has to run through the football club. We need to be challenging for the league. This club should have won Champions Leagues. This club shouldn't have gone 18 years without winning a title. We have to continue to win trophies. win the EFL Cup, win the FA Cup, go and win that Europa League. We haven't won a European competition for 2 decades, more than 2 decades. So the club has to start thinking big. And that starts with the fan base, in my opinion. We're the ones that have to set the trend. I always think chairmen get away with what they can get away with, what the club allows them to get away with. So, yeah, we've got to be demanding the best. We pay the most to go and watch. So why should we not be saying trophies? Arsenal need to win a trophy this season, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Arsenal should be winning a trophy. So the club has to start thinking bigger. Yeah, 3 decades without a European trophy. It's not good enough. We're a massive football club, a giant, but at times I think we lack ambition. I really do, you know. We don't have no divine right to just win trophies, but we have to demand more. A lot of you saying for 15 million you would take him. SA, though, said 15 million is a lot for 6 months left, in my opinion. I think you all should go for a Partey replacement, not a backup. Spend a little more or try to get Luiz down to 10 million. I think that 15 million is not bad. Is not bad. In the current... The way football is at the moment, I don't think 15 million is too bad for Douglas Luiz. I get what you're saying. Arsenal probably look at it and say, well, you know, we can get him back in the summer for nothing. But 15 million wouldn't be too bad. To buy an upgrade on Thomas Partey right now, you're going to have to spend a fortune. Bear in mind, Thomas Partey's on 200 grand a week. So you want a 200 grand Thomas Partey to then be the backup. Then you're going to buy someone for 40, 50 million to replace him, give him 150 grand. I just don't think Arsenal will work like that. I think they want somebody that is good, that can compete with him, that doesn't cost too much, where Partey will play if he's fit, but we have an adequate replacement if not. For me, Mohamed Elneny should leave in the summer. I don't think Elneny should be at Arsenal long term. Sambi Lokonga, for me, has to step up this season, or I would probably loan him out and let him go and develop. If you end up with Partey, Xhaka, Douglas Luiz, maybe another ball-playing centre-mid like a Tielemans, that's the kind of level of 4 that I want to see at the club. Gunnar Deja Vu said, Luiz ain't it. Given Partey's injury record, we need to be looking for a replacement or at worst a competitor. I think the general feeling is that 18 months ago, Douglas Luiz was seen as massive potential. He was actually starting for Brazil in some games. But I think it's Aston Villa tax. You know, he's at a club at the moment that are struggling. He can't get in the Brazil squad. And now, you know, he's gone down the pecking order. Tarbs, big up bro, said Lokonga is the Partey replacement, not for me. Luiz is an Elneny replacement and Mo is injured. 15 million might be worth it because we are probably going to get him anyway. What I meant is in terms of, I don't think Lokonga can play the Thomas Partey role good enough. But I know what you're saying. Luiz would be the squad upgrade on Mohamed Elneny. And like you said, Elneny's out for months. Elliot said, truth, we need a trophy, especially a Euro one. I want to see Arsenal lifting a European trophy this year. I'm sick of it. You know, I want European trophies. Sky Touche, big up for the super chat. Why would we take someone that can't make the bench for a team that's in a relegation battle? I think it's more down to... what's the word? I think it's politics with Douglas Luiz. I think Douglas Luiz is good enough to play for Aston Villa. I think what you've got there is a disgruntled employee. He wanted to leave. He feels he should have got the move. He didn't get the move. Hasn't started the season well. And he's going through the motions. You know, a lot of Leicester fans said Tielemans down tools last year. Leicester are bottom of the league. But, you know, and Tielemans has been dropped at times this season as well. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would have still taken Yuri Tielemans. The reality is, Douglas Luiz could come to Arsenal and be on the bench because he's not better than Thomas Partey, and he doesn't play the role that Granit Xhaka is currently playing very well. So I think it's down to politics rather than ability. I said, yeah, of course, Steven Gerrard. Holding him back, man. Didn't let him leave, now they're struggling. Fit said, thing is, Arteta has already won a trophy and things got worse. That's a good point. That is a good point. This is why, for me, this season, I want Arsenal to win a trophy this year, desperately. But I also think the biggest stamp that Mikel Arteta can make on his Arsenal career this season, for me, would be to get Arsenal in the top four. Because I think it shows over a 38-game period the progress that your club has made. We could finish 7th in the league, 8th in the league and win the Europa League. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're a great football team. It means we got through a cup competition where maybe we got a good draw and maybe we beat 2 or 3 decent teams and won it. Now, I'm desperate for us to win a European trophy. I would happily take it. If you offered me 6th in the league right now in Europa League, I would take it because beggars can't be choosers. It's a trophy and we're back in the Champions League. However, I'm being slightly greedy in the sense that I want to see Arsenal get in the top 4 because I want Arsenal to show that we're not a cup team. You know, Rafa Benitez used to do that at Liverpool, finish 8th and win trophies. However, long term, you've got to show that progression in the league. We can go over a long period of time, beat big teams, and start mixing it with the top 2 in the Premier League. At the end of the day, Liverpool have had a little wobble this season. Chelsea have got new owners, new manager, a number of new players. How is that all going to gel? Tottenham, you know, Conte's being linked with the Juventus job at the moment, with Allegri being considered under pressure. How's that going to work out? You never know. Manchester United, new manager, new players, Ronaldo issues. We have the most stable setup at the moment out of all of those teams. That doesn't mean we're the best team. That doesn't mean we have more quality than those teams. But we have stability. We've had the manager for 3.5 years. We've had the technical director. We've had a number of these players. There isn't chaos at the club this year. So we need to work on our stability in our favour. This football club has to get top 4 this season. They have to get top 4. They have to show us that we're now capable of doing it over 38 games. Because make no mistake, we bottled the Premier League last season. Whether you're an Arteta fan or not, doesn't matter. We all want the best for the football club. We bottled top 4 last season. That can't be acceptable this season. He's had the time. He's had the backing. He's had the finances. We have to get top 4. If we don't get top 4 this season, for me, there's no excuse. If he does get top 4, then the process continues. We get Champions League level players in and we go and push next season and be a serious force. So that's what I want to see anyway, next season and this season. Sayer, Alex Vlog said, "Hi Curtis, first time commenting for me. I just want you to know I've been practicing English, listening to the British accent by watching your videos at least 2 times a day since July." Big up yourself, bro. Listen, if you're trying to learn perfect English, I wouldn't say I'm perfect, you know, because I go in and out of slang and you might hear a little patois every now and then. So, you know, you might end up with a little Jamaican in there as well. But hey, big up yourself. Hope the channel, you know, inspires you a little bit, and I appreciate you commenting for the first time. Make sure you smash the likes. 1,400 of you in the chat. Can we get 1,000 likes by the end of the show, people? But yeah, in terms of Douglas Luiz, for me, 15 million. What I will say is Arsenal Football Club cannot afford to go in the January transfer window and be inactive. You look at the last couple of Januaries, they've been underwhelming. You know, last January, Daily Vlahovic, you know, hunting down Alexander Isak's number plate. We signed no one. Ultimately, that possibly cost us Champions League football. So the club need to be active. We need a centre midfielder in January, possibly even a winger, depending on Marquinhos, how he gets on, and depending on Emile Smith-Rowe's injury problems. Curtly Ting, yeah, man. Georgie said, only being on the one stream 1 minute and I'm seeing all Leicester players in the chat. Yeah, man, I see a lot of people talking about Leicester and Didi and all of that. Kamani said, if we don't get top 4, everything would feel like a waste. Ultimately, sometimes the manager in charge is a stepping stone. And I don't want anybody to think this is me saying, oh, you're disrespecting Arteta. No, I'm not. I remember a lot of people. I know a coach that works at Liverpool. He works with the youngsters. And he said the feeling at Liverpool when Brendan Rodgers was at Liverpool was, he's made a lot of progress, but he can only take that Liverpool team to a certain point. There was a general feeling at Liverpool that Rodgers had reached his highest point and that he couldn't go any further. But he certainly improved that Liverpool team. He brought through Sterling. He got the best out of Suarez, Daniel Sturridge. He changed Gerrard's game. Then they needed that Jurgen Klopp to go, right, you've built the foundations. I'll complete the house now. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with Arteta. Maybe Arteta becomes that top manager. But it's not always the manager that is at the football club that is going to complete the assignment. I know there's going to be some Arteta fans in the comments go, oh, you're so disrespectful. We're top of the league. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just saying the guy in charge isn't always the one that's going to take you to the promised land. Sometimes they're there to just for progression. We'll see over time whether he's a stepping stone or whether he is going to be that top manager. Sky Touche Photos, big up for the super chat. I would definitely go for Danilo. He looks like the best Partey replacement. Disguised passes, strength and ability to drive the ball. My thing with Danilo is just, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen enough of him. I'm not going to cap and say, oh, I've watched Palmeiras 50 times, he's the real deal. He looks good from YouTube videos, but you know, Yaya Sanogo looked good before we signed him in YouTube videos. So, you know, they're always dangerous to judge players off YouTube, that is for sure. But big up yourself. Clement said, no excuses for Edu and Arteta when it comes to the January transfer window. We need a minimum 2 players, midfield and right wing. Other than that, it's North London Derby week. Oh, my days. I'm so hyped for the game. I'm going to be honest. I was contemplating going to the game. I had a ticket, but I share my season ticket with somebody else. And I thought, you know what, it's an early kickoff. We'll do the watch along. It's going to be scenes, going to be epic. Yeah, so we're going to do the watch along. A lot of people are asking, are you going to the game? I'm not going to go to the game. I'm going to do the watch along. And I can't wait for the game, to be honest. It's going to be absolute scenes on Saturday morning. 12:30 kickoff. It's an early one. Franklin said, you're so disrespectful. We're top of the league, Franklin. It's all good humour, bro. I know you're having a laugh, but some of the Arteta fans will come for me. But listen, I think I've been very respectful for Arteta this year. Arteta's had minimum 8 out of 10 every player ratings, apart from Old Trafford, where I had a bit of a meltdown. I can't lie. Anyway, a little bit of breaking news. It's breaking all over the place, but I'm just going to share this one tweet so that we can talk about all the players at once. Remember you bantering Mudryk? I have no recollection of that whatsoever. Listen, he looks good, I can't lie. AFC Camden. There's 3 separate articles at the moment with all of this story, so I've nicked one tweet so we can just put it all together. Tomiyasu, Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey have all returned to Arsenal early. All are returning because they have injury concerns from the weekend. Thomas Partey got injured in the warm-up for Ghana against Brazil. Tierney came off injured, and Tomiyasu finished the game with an injury concern. Now, the question is this Arteta playing a bit of a masterstroke, which I hope it is, or do we have genuine cause for concern and 3 important players may not be available for the weekend? Obviously, we play Tottenham and we cannot afford these guys to be injured. Now, I'm looking through, according to reports coming out of the Scottish press, Kieran Tierney has returned to Arsenal early. The left-back was substituted in the first half of the Nations League match with a head injury. Steve Clark said it was a precaution as they thought he may have had concussion. Now, usually concussion would be 7 days, but apparently it was just a precaution. They're not going to risk him, and he should be all right. Tomiyasu, it says, has returned to the club due to club circumstances, which isn't a very clear one. Thomas Partey returned for an assessment on his knee, although not believed to be serious. So what are your thoughts on this? I'm just trying to see here. Yeah, Thomas Partey was removed from the game against Brazil with an issue with his knee, although the injury is not believed to be serious. He will return early to Arsenal, where they will assess him for the rest of the week ahead of the North London derby. So it seems as if Tierney and Thomas Partey should be all right, but I have to admit, these 2 players are starting to irritate me. And I like these 2 a lot. I got to be honest. I love Thomas Partey. I love Kieran Tierney as players. They're brilliant players. But it just gets a bit annoying reading about these two getting injured. You get to a point where you're like, do we replace them? What do you do with them? Tierney's on over 100 grand a week. Partey's on 200 grand a week. What do you do with them? I don't think you could sell Thomas Partey now for any decent money. So when people say get rid of them, I don't know who's buying a 29-year-old Thomas Partey with injury concerns. But according to the reports, and what I'm seeing is Partey and Tierney look like they're going to be fine. And Tomiyasu apparently played the whole 90 minutes against America. So maybe it's a precaution. Ziggy with a super chat. Big up, bro. He said, mind games by Big Tet. So Japton will lead us to victory on the North London derby. Bro, I hope so. I really, really hope so. We need to beat Tottenham this weekend. Obviously, we play Liverpool next weekend as well. So it's not getting any easier, that is for sure. Just looking at Tomiyasu here and anything around his injury. Tomiyasu has returned to the club due to club circumstances. I mean, what does that mean? We need to know more than that. Tomiyasu has been given special permission to leave the Japan squad for club circumstances. I mean, what does that mean? We don't know what that means. Listen, without being horrible, Tomiyasu's not playing at the moment. So if he has got a slight knock, it's not the end of the world. Some people saying it's not actually an injury. He just maybe pulled out to return early, which fair play. Will Tomiyasu even play at the weekend? Do you know what? That's the second poll of the day. I'm going to end that first poll because that one's still running. Would you take Douglas Luiz for £15 million in January? 83% said yes. 17% said no. I think for £15 million, it's a no-brainer. We need squad depth. And for 15 mil, I wouldn't be complaining if we got Douglas Luiz. Alfred said, if those three are out, we are not winning the North London derby. I think we're all right. My second poll of the day, people. Who would you play at right back against Tottenham? Who would you play at right back against Tottenham? The reason I'm asking this question is because Ben White is in good form. There's no doubt about that. Ben White is in good form. At the same time, Son has just scored a hat-trick. He's in, he's going to be in great spirits after that hat-trick. Do you bring in the specialist right back in Tomiyasu, or do you leave Ben White there who's in form? I'm really intrigued to see what you think on that one. It's very difficult to drop Ben White when he's playing that well. And if you do put Tomiyasu back in and he gets ripped apart, people are going to say, well, why did you take out Ben White who was in form? It's a tricky one, that. I want to see what you think. I'll give you my opinion later on when I've seen what you go for in the poll. Don Draper, big up, bro. Hope you're well. He said Rolls Royce, Benjamin White. He's giving big props to Ben White. Tommy, it's son. I'm sure it's done you there with the spell check. But yeah, Tomiyasu, I think you're going for. Ben White all the way. Most of you going Ben White, although Calvin said Ben White will be cooked. Son versus Ben White. No, Big C. Tommy can defend better. Caleb said don't change your winning team. Gooner 8 said Tommy in, Tierney in. Bring Tommy in. Benny is getting, if Benny's getting cooked. Benny Blanco pocketed Zaha. That's a good point. That is a good point as well. Franklin said Benny Blanco if Tommy is properly match fit. And Jay Signor said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ben White continues. The poll is there. Let me know what you think, people. Jermaine said, don't change your winning team. And Sultan said, got to go with Benny Blanco. Either way, it's good to have options. But listen, as I said, just to report that bit of breaking news, Tomiyasu, Tierney and Partey have all returned to Arsenal early. Tierney and Partey had injury concerns. Tierney with a head injury. Looks as if he's all right. Partey had some discomfort in his knee. Looks as if he's going to be all right. Tomiyasu, by the sounds of it, is just pulled out of international duty to return early. Maybe he feels he needs to be back at the club, trying to put pressure on Ben White with him not being in obviously Ben White is on the training ground at the moment because he's not in the England squad. Tomiyasu's on international duty. Big up the C Unit tuned in. James said Tommy didn't look that great against good wingers last season. Gunnar8 says a master plan. Let's move on anyway, people. Let's talk about the biggest shark we've had at the football club for a while. Sounded a bit like Jadakiss when he spoke. And that is this man here with the glasses, Raul Sanllehi, I think you actually pronounce it, but lazy English, I just call him Raul Sanllehi. He's given a tell-all interview with The Athletic, the mouthpiece of the football club, The Athletic. Who else? Raul Sanllehi himself, speaking about his time at the football club. I'm just going to quickly skip through it because, listen, I'm not that interested in what he's got to say. He's left the club. Well, of course, it's always interesting just quickly reading what he had to say. Raul Sanllehi on Arsenal, he said, they have betrayed the model a little bit now by going back to the manager at the top. That is a mistake. But that is their mistake. I would not have allowed that to happen, but that's fine. It is working so far. I think he's basically saying that, you know, you shouldn't have a manager. You should just be the head coach. I have to admit, that picture, it's very hard to trust that picture. But listen, hopefully these two can work their magic. This guy, Vinay, I don't think he's very good. Edu, time will tell. Arteta, time will tell. This guy was Jaws himself, mate. That is a real shock. You swim with sharks, mate. You get bit if you can't handle business. Alfred said Tomiyasu because he has the experience playing against Son in the Asia qualifiers. We also need Saka at his best, and Tommy allows him to be at his best. That is an interesting one. Does Tomiyasu get more out of Saka? We'll see. Raul Sanllehi goes on to say, Arsenal had decided to move on from Wenger, one boss who did everything. I do not agree when clubs call the first team coach the manager. First team coach, that is enough. Nowadays, the workload is overwhelming and I need him to concentrate on the first team. He said, anything that distracts you from that is not your responsibility. Travel arrangements, the pitch, salary budget, medical department. We will get other people to do that. The first team coach is short-term oriented. Just win tonight's game. He then finishes off by saying, well, he did a full interview where he talks about his departure, remodeling from the one boss structure, installing a technical director, and Unai Emery's hell, and much, much more. It's an interesting interview. Just to give you a couple of the things that he said, he tried to give Unai Emery a new 3-year contract at the end of the first season, as he felt Emery could take us on to bigger and better things. He also talks about getting Arsenal back involved with some of the biggest agents in world football. Arsene Wenger didn't want to deal with the likes of George Mendes. He had great relationships with him. He talks about how he got Pepe ahead of a number of other clubs in Europe. Arsenal, you know, had a full investigation into that contract, where millions of pounds was believed to have gone missing. So he clearly, you know, brown envelopes. But this is the guy that apparently was responsible for giving Neymar's dad £20 million for convincing him to go to Barcelona ahead of Real Madrid. So when you swim with sharks, you get bit, people. Arsenal brought him in. And listen, the only thing I will say, most people diss Raul Sanllehi, and I understand it. You've got to give him a little bit of credit. This is the guy that brought in William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli, Kieran Tierney. So there were a few good deals there. Guendouzi as well. Although was Guendouzi? No, I think Guendouzi wasn't him actually. But listen, brown envelopes galore. It was a spell that we needed to move on from. We're not that football club. I don't think that we can have a guy like that in charge because we're not that football club. So, but it was just interesting when these, you know, people leave the football club and then they start talking reckless about the way that we're operating and stuff like that. So Raul Sanllehi, you know, Brown Envelopes FC doing his thing. He brought in Willian, I think Cedric as well, and Pablo Mari. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of bad ones there. Raul, different knock Sanllehi. Yeah, he said the knock was different. Of course it was, because there was envelopes coming through the door full of cash. Granit Xhaka said the worst thing with Sanllehi was that he was so short. Every time I shook his hand, my back hurt. So this Granit Xhaka account's amazing, you know. Jermaine said Guendouzi was Mislintat. Raul secured Magalhaes before he left, though. Yeah, Mislintat was an interesting one, wasn't it? They called him Diamond Eye. They said, you know, he had an eye for a diamond player. But in the end, you know, they said he was unprofessional. Sanllehi was a little gully. Yeah, man, them man there don't mess about. They definitely don't mess about. Anyway, let's move on. Let me end this poll as well, people. Ben White or Tomiyasu, who would you play at right back against Tottenham? Son scored a hat-trick in his last game. Do you stick with Ben White? He's been in good form this season. Or do you go with the specialist in Tomiyasu? So 65% of you have said play Ben White at right back, 35% saying Tomiyasu. I think the general feeling is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it would be very difficult to drop Ben White with the form he is in. And do you know what? I would stick with Ben White based off the fact that Ben White did very well against Wilfried Zaha. I've got to be totally honest. He did well against Wilf, and I thought he would get ripped apart against him. Common sense would say to me, you bring in the specialist right back to deal with Son, but I think Ben White will play. I've got to be honest. I don't think Ben White will get dropped. Make sure you smash the likes, people. Can we get it up to 1,000 before the show ends? Subscribe if you haven't already. Road to 100k. And make sure you vote for the Football Content Awards. Link is in the description. Big up South London's finest. Arteta's duty-free tax said Raul was a fraud, mad brown envelopes and dumb deals. These are the guys that brought Barca down. He was part of the Coutinho deal, bad business. Benjamin is getting smoked, mark my words. Saliba and White can and should cope against Son. And that's a good point, Abby. I think now, because you've got Saliba as right centre-back, it gives you good cover on that side. So I do think we are equipped to cope. Yeah, I think Ben White will get the nod. I've got to be honest. Without Partey, we look weak, 100%. But Partey should be available for this week. And, of course, we got Liverpool next week. And, of course, Gabriel Jesus is on 4 yellow cards. One more yellow card, and it's a one-match ban. We play Liverpool next week. Please, please, please do not get booked. It's going to be such a hype game. Tackles are going to be flying. I have to admit, I'm concerned about Gabriel Jesus. I do not want him to get booked this weekend. So we'll have to see with that one. African Soldier said, Tomiyasu is not a specialist. Y'all forget he is a centre-back converted to a right-back. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, the general feeling, I think, a lot of the time is that Tomiyasu is a centre-back who can play right-back. I think you can tell by almost how tall he is, the way he plays, his lack of overlapping at times. Tomiyasu does give me centre-back vibes. So, yeah, I think there is similarity in that sense that he's kind of a tall centre-back playing right-back. Very true. Ish said Xhaka needs to teach Jesus discipline. Damn, Gabby Jesus, please, on behalf of the whole of Arsenal, just do not get booked this weekend. We need you for that Liverpool game. Anyway, let's move on. Just briefly, we're 45 minutes in. Couple more topics and we'll be out of here, people, as we approach the hour. The show will obviously get more in-depth as we approach the weekend. We'll have a preview for the Tottenham game. I'll try and get a Spurs fan on. And looking forward to an absolutely huge North London derby. And why is this game so big? Listen, it's massive anyway. Maitreya said, Mr. Shaw, I think you are adorable. I mean, I'm pretty decent, to be fair. I'm not bad, you know. Information and entertainment. And happy Monday. I agree with that comment completely. I'd pin it, actually. I'm tempted to pin it, but I'll leave it. But anyway, let's move on. Mr. Shaw is adorable. Right, let's carry on. You've thrown me off there. Happy Monday, everyone. But anyway, Arsenal are top. Tottenham are third. And the thing is, Tottenham, the interesting thing about them is that when I watch them, I don't think they look that good. But the problem with them, Son and Kane and their manager. And That is always, hey, what's it? Hey, relax. People talk about OnlyFans and massagers now. Let me chill. Man said Curtis Shaw adorable. See, you've set him off now. TJ saying I look like Cameron Jerome. That's what Deluda tries to call me. I'm not accepting it. The girls are starting to roll in the comments, but hey, listen, we're here, people. The shirt ripper set it all off, you know. I won't be ripping no more shirts. Like I said, inflation, man. You know what I mean? Electricity's going up. Everything's going mad. The shirts can't get ripped no more, people. I'm telling you that. But anyway, let's get back. Let's continue. Let's keep focused here, people. You lot relax with the string vest talk and all of that. If the electricity gets too high, then, you know, we may have to start sort of melts. But anyway, let's move. Arsenal are top, 18 points, 6 wins, 1 defeat, 7 games gone. Tottenham, 7 games, 5 wins, 2 draws. I mean, they are unbeaten. They are one of only 2 sides in the Premier League not to have been beaten this season. Them and Manchester City. They've got a very similar goal difference, 18 goals. We've scored 17. They've scored 7. We've scored 7. This is a very good team. This is a very good team. It's all going mad here. It's all going mad. And look, Cheryl's saying, if only I was not married. I mean, what's going on here? What are we doing here, people? It's all going mad on this Monday. I'm telling you, if electricity goes up too much, I'm doing mukbang. It's all going off. OnlyFans. We got to do what we got to do, people. The gas prices are high right now. Yo, it's mad, people. It's all mad. But listen, it's going to be a tough game. Conte, he's going to turn up. He's going to play horrible football. Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez. He's going to pack the defence, pack the midfield, and try and hit us on the counter-attack. It's crazy because everyone was gassing up Kulusevski last year, and now everyone's talking about Richarlison. Kulusevski's getting dropped. One thing I will say about Tottenham, you've got to handle their front three. The reason we beat them last year is because we mash work on their defence. If you don't mash work on their defence and they hit you on the counter-attack, it becomes a problem. When you attack them, you've got to score. You've got to punish them. What team would I play? Just off the top of my head, I would probably go with Ramsdale, Tierney, Gabriel, Saliba. Probably I would just give Ben White the nod because he's played so well. You go Xhaka, Partey. Do you go Odegaard ahead of Fabio Vieira? I think you just give him the nod. And then you go Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus. Bang. Man said GQ unit. It's all mad, people. It's all mad. I don't know what's going on here. You lot are turning the chat wild. But we need to win this game. We need to win. We did a member stream the other day, people, and I said, what's the minimum you would take from the next 2 games? Liverpool and Tottenham. For me, the minimum is 4 points because the reality is we have a very bad record against Liverpool recently. We know this isn't the Liverpool that we've seen over the last couple of years. However, I've saw reports nearly all of their midfielders are back. They're going to be fired up for that game. It's going to be very difficult. However, if you get 4 points, I want the 3 points to come from the Tottenham game, and I would take the point from the Liverpool game. I would rather beat Tottenham if we had to get 1 win out of the 2. So I think 4 points is the minimum because they're 2 home games. I wouldn't accept a defeat in any of those games. You should not lose to Tottenham at home, and you should not lose to Liverpool at home in their current form, 2 wins out of their last 5. I know they're a good team, and it's not going to be easy, but I'm expecting 4 points from Arsenal. I really am. The chat's gone wild. You know, I'm having to be careful with the chat. You lot are going crazy in the chat now. Once someone sets you off, you're uncontrollable, innit? C-unit business, people. It's wild, you know. I want to be a lover. I really want some things, baby. And don't say you're loving. You know, them old school G-Unit tracks with Joe. Where's Joe, by the way? I ain't seen Joe for years, man. Them R&B singers who used to just drop them big boy tracks. They don't make did they even make them kind of R&B jams anymore? I don't know where they are, man. Joe, what's the last Joe track that I can remember? Probably the one in The Power. They say this is a big rich town. That's probably the last one. All them R&B dons have just disappeared. I don't know where they've gone. They don't do R&B like they used to, man. They used to be standing outside in the rain with a do-rag on, wearing baggy jeans, You know, it's all changed, man. They don't make R&B like they used to, man. It's all mad, people. Maybe I'm just getting old. It's all mad. It is what it is. Frogan said, man like Joe had me pouring out my heart singing them songs. I'm telling you, man, R&B's changed, man. I don't even know what R&B you would listen to nowadays. It's all mad. It's Joe featuring Papoose. Where you at? Them big tunes there, you know. I'm telling you. I'm still listening to them tunes from 15 years ago. Facts, boot cut there. Yo, boot cuts over the Air Force Ones was mad. Baggy white t-shirt. I thought I was from Harlem. The t-shirt was 2 sizes too big. The jeans were massive. The Air Forces were creased after about 2 weeks. It was all mad, people. They're doing mumble rap now. Yeah, it's all changed. It's all changed. I can't lie. Them new R&B jams, I don't really know what they're dealing with. But anyway, you're throwing me off topic. They'll all go mad in the comments. I came here to talk football. You're talking about R&B. But yeah, we're getting old, people. Lloyd Banks smart. I want to be the easiest smile. Yo, them big tune. Listen, I know I've said it time and time again. This Twitch channel is going to get going properly. FIFA 23 out tonight at midnight, people. We download tonight. We're going to try and start some gaming content. I want to do some other stuff over on the Twitch channel. We do some music. We do some different things over there, people. But anyway, Arsenal-Tottenham this weekend. We have to win. We have to win the game, people. We have to win the game and push them back a little bit because they haven't looked great. And somehow they're level with Man City and 1 point behind us. And just looking at our next few fixtures, I mean, Tottenham this weekend, Bodo Glimt next Thursday at home. Then we play Liverpool. Then we play Bodo Glimt again. And then we've got Leeds away. So these next 2 games are going to say a lot about our season. Dynamite 18, change your location to New Zealand. You get it earlier. I saw a few people saying that. I might do that because, you know, sometimes I'm impatient. I need it right now. So I might wait. I might not wait. Sorry, I might check that. I'm on PS5, people. It's been 1,089 days. I'm still waiting for the Twitch music stream. It's coming. Falalu's saying you look like Joe Joyce. Now you better relax yourself. His head's massive, bro. Man's head's like a brick. It was a good fight at the weekend though. He smashed up Joseph Parker. But no, I'm not accepting the Joe Joyce comparison, Falalu. In fact, the more I think about it, the more offended I feel about that. But I've got a decent personality, so I can brush it off. Oh, dear me. But we move, people. We move. I said you'll get the New Zealand version. Nah, I don't know. Is there any different? He's just light-skinned with braids. You know they do that. Anyone who is light-skinned with braids, they just say you look like Jay Holiday. You know, anyone, they just throw it on you, people. It's a violation. I will not be accepting Joe Joyce comparisons. His head is like a brick. Man said, no, Anthony Yard is Curtis's twin. So you've set them off again, people. I shouldn't even click on these comments. I should not even click on them. Kian said, Curtis, I have a 12 and 13-year-olds, both made to R. Kelly jams. The disappointment I feel. I mean, listen. We're going to have to be honest. I'm gonna go full screen for this one. And I know you lot are taking me completely off topic. A lot of people here to listen to Arsenal talk. You're throwing me off topic. We've all played some R. Kelly to a girl before. We didn't know what he was doing down in the basement. We didn't know that he was tying, you know, women up in the basement. I'm sorry, we didn't know, you know. But we've all got to admit our mistakes. We've all listened to some R. Kelly at the time, man. It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh. We've all been there, man. My mind's telling me no. We've all been there. You've all played that. Where do we go with it? Do we stop playing him? But we're playing Michael Jackson songs, and there was, I don't know, like Kian, that comment's so wild. I feel like ending the stream. I don't know where to go. It's one of them, innit? It's one of them. Do we turn it off? Can you still play R. Kelly tracks? I'm not sure. Time out. No, we got to be honest. Man's trying to throw me on time out. We've all played R. Kelly with a girl in the car or something before. We've all done it. I thought R. Kelly was talking the things, but I didn't understand what he really meant, you know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. Forgive me. This chat is adorable and I'm all here for it. It's only Monday. It's only Monday. I'm not even ready for what you're doing right now. I believe I can fly. He actually did believe he can fly. He had girls locked up in the basement. It's all crazy. Umang said, hey, Big C, did you watch the David Dean interview with Robbie? If yes, your thoughts. I got to be honest. I haven't watched the whole interview. I've only seen some of the clips. But it did look good. I'm going to listen to all of it later on when I get a chance. I've turned into this guy now where I love listening to podcasts in the car. I always used to be music in the car. Now, a lot of the time, I love listening to podcasts. When I'm on my own, on the motorway, throw a podcast on, listen to all of it. The journey flies by. Sometimes the music's a bit too much, you know. So, no, I will give you my full feedback when I've listened to it. The chat is hilarious. You're moving wild, people. You're moving wild. Brian Hackney, Wick FC, you're laughing as well. Listen, I don't want no one to come in here and tell me you never played some R. Kelly. If you've done it since, 2020? When did the documentary come out? Then you got to ask questions, you know. Then you got to ask questions. But if pre-2020, we all played some R. Kelly to a chick, you know. I've been at, somebody just said, step in the name of love. You know, I've been at a wedding before, and I know and it's somebody's birthday tonight. Come on, man, we was playing them bangers. It was all mad. Darren. I mean, that comment's wild. R. Kirtley. I don't know where to go from it. I don't even know what to say. I feel like Jose, you know, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. You lot are moving wild today. You're going to get me banned off YouTube if you carry on. Ah, dear, it's wild. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going to get knocks at the door the way you lot are moving. Alfred said, I still play Kelly and Michael. He was the only one doing it, not me. I'm not going to stop supporting Arsenal because the owner did something dirt. It's a good point. Stan was animal hunting, killing animals. We still buy Arsenal shirts. So, yeah, it's a good point. I gotta admit, I don't think I've played an R. Kelly record since the documentary came out. I don't think I have. If one came up on suggested items, I think I turned it off. Michael Jackson. Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. If Rock With You comes on or something, I have to let it play, man. He was never actually found guilty in a court of law. So, you know, yeah, he might have paid him off, but I got to let Mike, I let Mike slide. I can't like Alfred, though. You're moving wild. You're moving wild still. I think you got to turn the Kelly tune off. Umang said, oh, no, sorry. I clicked that one already. Man calling me R. Kirtley is just outrageous. I'm not sure what to think about that. I feel like I need a Ray and nephew to get over that. YouTube will be at the door soon. Community trying to get Curtis cancelled. Listen. James Bond said, Big C, I still listen to R. Kelly. It's mad. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing with it. Yeah. The thing is, we now know what the lyrics meant. It's mad. It all sounded good at the time, but nah, Haroon, I ain't got no basement. There's no basement. Relax. It's all mad. Anyway, let's move. Let's have a quick roundup before you lot get me banned. Damn, Latte, Big C in the community. This is a top 3 stream ever. See you, Nick. Oh, man, it's crazy, people. I'm telling you. It's mad. Wait till we start doing the Twitch ones when I'm playing music in the background. It's mad. Unshamed, dedicated. This one to my face. Oh, it's mad. Chains in the basement. It's all mad. This has turned. I don't know how. How has it ended up turning into this? We've gone way off topic. I was talking about the North London derby. Now we're talking about who you can listen to. Man said, Cully, are you okay? Are you okay, Cully? You're wild. You're absolutely wild, I'm telling you. How come I can actually hear it the way you've written it? That don't even make sense. I don't know what's going on today. It's Monday. I've had 2 days off. I thought, I'd have to ease my way back into it, have a little stretch and a warm-up, have a little casual Monday stream. It's ended up wild. I have to be careful, though. If we carry on speaking, they'll pull me off it. Sports Genius said he met R. Kelly in Chicago pre-pandemic and took a picture with him. The post had to come down. You gotta delete that post, bro. You gotta delete that post. He better not took you in the basement. That's what. He better not took you in the basement, Sports Genius. I'm telling you. Yo. And I know you put that picture up with pride as well. Like, yo, man just met R. Kelly in Chicago. Little do you know, the man's probably grooming you, fam. Yo, I think the stream's got to end. I got to look after the channel for the long term. It's going wild. Anthony said, I bet R. Kelly's cellmate has him sing. See, we got to keep it child-friendly, people. This is the beauty of this channel. It's going wild. You know, if we carry on, this is going to be a problem. They're going to demonetize this stream. Oh, man. It's absolutely mad. Dodge a bullet. The man had to pull down the picture. That is so funny. Because I can imagine you put that picture up with so much pride. Sports Genius, big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. The speed that you would have deleted that picture. Beautiful. I bet you had so much pride when you put that up as well, innit? Yo. Delete that quick. People, I'm getting out of here before I get banned off YouTube. Thank you very much. Happy Monday. Absolutely brilliant stream. I don't know what to say. We came here to talk Arsenal. We've spoke about something else. No sponsor for this one. It's a good job. They might say, listen, you've sponsored me on some wild stream. Alfred said, here in the US, they say man was snitching on himself, trapped in the closet. My mind is telling me, no, I'm a flirt and nothing wrong with a bump and grind. He was telling the feds all along. They never understood the lyrics. You know what I mean? Trapped in the closet. The girl, listen, let me move. Alfred, big up for the super chat. Like the video on the way out. I'm off to listen to R. Kelly's greatest hits. I'm joking, people, by the way. I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your Monday. See you all soon. Bless.